Good morning, or whatever it is, wherever you are. So I saw something else here. Multiple logins when entering channel name. So I'm guessing that we got a whole bunch of messages while we were still in the disconnected state. And it's like, oh, we need to log in, which probably needs to be intermediary states to track that I'm currently attempting to log in. Although what affects me more right now is visibility checking. So right now on startup, we do no. Okay, we've deferred it a little bit, possibly until user. Yeah, fetch host, fetch streams. So I want to do probably all of this when we become visible. Host follows current stream. If we don't have an ID, get the login. That information doesn't update. So it's just if we have that. And that we want to do on visibility change. So we are actually checking two things here. But we're only really considering one case of them, so it could be more of a straight up. This doesn't need to be a batch. If model dot user ID equals just I need to match into that though. User ID visible of what is it? Browser.events dot visible and command dot none. If we've got an ID to query and we just became visible, then we refresh everything. I guess I could have a refresh that took like the maybe user ID. No, this is model.user ID. And pulled out the ID. In case we needed to refresh more things. Okay. Although that's going to make that case statement. Okay, so chat response is more kind of update things. Chat connection. Refresh takes a maybe. No, it's maybe string. So this will be a single. Actually, that could be a map, couldn't it now? We have to handle both cases. So we've got U, which is refresh M user ID. So we end up matching into that twice, but and U, which is if visible equals browser events visible. And then UR else command.none. Oh, 339. Nope. Forgot our arrow. Okay, so you're compiled. Oop. Oh, I do need an extra tab to test visibility checking. Ooh, so this is actually, even on a refresh, lots of connections. Why wasn't I seeing this before? So we might actually have to look at network for this. Yeah, okay, so it's doing the refreshing. Hopefully that doesn't happen often enough to run into API request issues. So this should hit some notes. Refresh. I don't think we need to check for stream start if we're doing that refresh. Refresh data when page becomes visible. All right, now, about all those multiple connections. So probably we're going to have to update this to consider disconnected, connecting, connected. Logging in as that user. Actually, I don't know. Let's see if we can figure out which, is it the join command or the identify command that's being sent too much? I see a join, I see a join. We don't have our sent messages. Yeah, there's only one login message, so we're just kind of assuming we're not sending the... And we might be able to check that. Let's try... Maybe I can get away with the bug.log Nick with that. Okay. Okay, so yeah, we only sent that once. So actually logging in is not currently an issue. It is joining that room. Where chat connection update. So right now we have logged in. If we are in the logged in state and there, but this needs to change us to no, yeah, joining. Clicking a server. This needs the login in the channel. Do we do anything when we are logging in or joining? I guess, yeah, we would need to cancel that if we had that case. In ID login channel. And we actually have the channel to part there, and oh no, we're counting on the we're counting on the part message to put us into the unjoined state. Maybe I need a parting? But then as it stands, we do nothing with that. Did I not? No, it's joining. It's not what I expect. Portsocket.id. What? Oh. We also need the ID. That only joined twice. It's an improvement. So what is, so we go to joining. say we're joining. That no longer, that should know the only place we send join messages. There's a response to a join. Oh, I directly send it in response to this. Oh. So this actually, if it's doing this, it should jump directly to join channel. We've got... Oh, that's model.login. So that affects both the thing we send and the state we end up in. So now we're looking at something like case model.login of just channel nothing. Get it lined up before we copy it. So if we have a channel, we go to immediately, well, or I just have this go to logged in and count on the other thing to send the join. That would actually keep things a lot simpler, wouldn't it? And then you do not send this as all part of the same command. We just go to logged in and let the other bit deal with it. There we go. That's only one names list. Now, that does end up inverting us, unfortunately. Chat connection update. Do I maybe want to try reversing this? There we go. That sends the caps before the join. So we get, if we ever end up needing any of that stuff. — 353. Oh yeah, names list. Okay, so name, end of names list, room state. Get diff. Edit a joining state to track that. Joining state to, wow. Remove duplicate room joins, add joining connection state. Thankfully, we only have a single room model right now. And then, well, the README is probably sorely out of date. Scrolling. Stream credits. I might be able to look up some of this stuff from other apps. Shows channels hosting at time of load and follows that occurred since start of currently running stream by Twitch API. Once channel name is entered, it will update the URL. This can be bookmarked or used as a browser scene in OBS, etc. The application will update data on visibility change, e.g. Bing software scene change. It will also monitor chat for raids while running. So for this feature, it should not be set to unload when not visible. We can do URL parameters. That makes the... If I do that, I also probably going to have to do another heading for this to end that. Login. Channel name to report on. User ID. Channel user ID. Login will be converted to user ID if needed. Channel user ID for API calls. And that's all we support right now. And we do not currently have the syntax for the bigger hosts. We still have to clean up our debugging, but we're still looking for that command. All right, so what do we need? I've been debating whether I should add higher level parsing of the Twitch of the chat messages. Because we end up doing these things where we go through tags and we'll say we're looking for just this exact one if it's there, even though it really should be there in that message. So I've been debating if we should have like a decoder style thing. And then, yeah, and then the RAID goes through and pulls out a bunch of very specific things. But since I am pulling out only at certain fields, I don't know if I should be trying to define generic decoders for these. I guess you could just have a struct that has everything. Similar to what I have with the Twitch API stuff. But this is... This is something I might want to leave till I have another IRC project so I can get a better feel of how things get used. But the other question is, what do we do now? Because that's the stuff I immediately need to do here. Don't know if I have enough use cases. As it is, I kind of charged ahead on pulling these all out as individual tag parameters. So we could... Well, I know that there's been some changes with Elm in HTTP 2.0, and there's like file and bytes now. So file is one of the things I've got ported. But I've been kind of leaving that until I actually touch the applications in question, which I haven't had to do recently. The other thing would be to try and switch over to... I know I've got some stuff I want to fix up on One Life Docker builds. Which I kind of put off to get this thing going. That will require a little bit of environment cleanup. All right, well, how about I take a little break to get that computer cleaned up and set up to send the screen over. I'll leave this up just in case we get any events. And then we'll poke around at some Git STG Docker build stuff. Reducing a lot of the recipes down to around... Oh, you're kidding me! That's just rude. Never built this close to the Aurora before.
Huh. I wasn't there a second ago. Nothing. Where's it that one? Case hurt. Guys, I got to give a shout out. Man, if my fingers would just work right now. Shout out. I am just like so wow. If you guys, oh gosh, that doesn't work. Don't know who Milton T. Pike is, please go over and check him out. He is hilarious. You will instantly fall in love and be inspired. All streamers should just so wish to be like that. He is just so
many viewers. May as well just start the game. So, as you probably know, Oxygen Not Included has created
7-2-0.
Punto.
¡Hay alguien en el punto!
Sí, una fara. Ah, que tiene la skin de. Ah, qué fuerte. Yo quiero esa.
¿Cuál? ¿De qué?
La que no tiene, la de Symmetra. La de. Esa es Symmetra Warframe, totalmente. Es Symmetra Lotus.
Sí, sí, me trago así, vale.
Espérate, te voy a enseñar.
Vale, como tienen, claro, tienen una fara para mis cosas.
Case hurt. Guys, I got to give a shout out. Man, if my fingers would just work right now. Shout out. I am just like so wow. If you guys, oh gosh, that doesn't work. Don't know who Milton T. Pike is, please go over and check him out. He is hilarious. You will instantly fall in love and be inspired. All streamers should just so wish to be like that. He is just so, I mean, this is
I'm inside the ground right now. I'm down here. This is where I am. Okay. Oh my god. How do Don't worry, guys. We're ready to go explore the planet now. Oh shit, this is all cheaty, isn't it?
I am Alam Moon. I like it. Need a song for this life. Inspire this little girl. Ooh, okay. Oh, the tour. I love when people do the freaking tour. She might be just like looking around, but
For contract, not because I'm a liar.
I'm just digging up stuff now. I think it's been a couple of minutes. I feel like it's been a couple of minutes.
Yeah, come into my room. That sounds so weird. Oh god. I just said something very stupid. Yeah, baby's cut.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, okay.
Flying up in the air and going underground.
Yeah, I've had some fidgetiness with unknowns, but and issues, and there were at one point issues.
It's been cleared out. Oh, hey, where'd this hatch come from? What up, buddy? How's it going? You eating some of these resources and turning them into coal? You are. You are so ugly.
I would have expected to inherit the next screen from the profile and profile save. But I might have to actually define it here.
Base dug out. Let's build that other set. Meal lice. Or meal wood. As far as it goes, putting doors down everywhere, it's a little bit of overkill. I probably don't even need to do that, but I just like it. One advantage to it is
All right, well, out here, it's only going to be... Wait, I got a pie. Really, I did.
Boom.
Ah! I grabbed a new pie. I must accidentally put it down somewhere. And I die in the wilderness again. Alright. Oh, actually, there's one more thing I forgot. I need to move the mic where I can actually reach it. Lovely dupes. And welcome back. Holy cow. Thanks, guys. And welcome back. Holy cow. Where's that coming from? Guys. Oh. Tee-hee. The SCS Dev stream was still up. That's where the echo was coming from. Alright, hopefully that's straightened out. We just need to get, if this is still here, there we go. Alright, so what we want to do here is that we have a process of applying patches which is probably in Windows Client Build. No, this is in the Fetch. Okay, so get the patches. Get the latest tagged patch. Now, the issue is that I run into a situation where sstacked-git, with the history of, change parentage, was able to rebase its patch set onto some changed code. Whereas importing the patches is working purely with does the context match, does it not match, and is far more fragile. Which I guess is the argument to not drop stat-git in favor of something that tracks purely in terms of patches its main state, although maybe something similar to what the series do would help. So we have a lot of files in our file selection here. Let's see if we can... Windows Client, source, One Life, patches, series. So this says it applies on top of this commit. I want to check if that is actually a commit we've got. Ooh. What if I was working on master and that was not the one we were building on? Well, it would still be a rebase. Would apply the patch to a known version. Blah, 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 blah. Windows client, source, one life. Okay, yeah. 185 is what we originally applied that to, so that looks like it's a perfectly valid thing. So the idea is to have the patches, rather than applying against the current source, apply against the version they were built against, and then we attempt to rebase with the additional source control context. Although I was actually curious what other files got changed that required a client change. Oh, it might just be the emotion object. Yeah, so the only reason to issue a new... Oh, well... is because we're going to have a version mismatch. The only reason I needed to do a new client. Okay. Even though it was technically data, it's all part of that package. So anyway, the thing I want to do, since SDGit apparently has no way to deal with this, I can check the documentation again. Oh yeah, and I don't need you anymore. Okay, apparently that doesn't quit like normal. Oh, nope, it was just taking its sweet time. No, no, no. That's just a patch file. Manual page, manual page. Tutorial. Yeah, this is really designed for importing other patches into the system, not for moving stuff. I guess they are just guessing like ordinary Git operations, but then you don't... I don't know, I guess you could sort of maintain the patch state in the tree, but... You need to direct the output to import the whole patch set. Synchronize patches in multiple... Oh. Huh. Only commits with exactly one pair can be uncommitted. Yeah. Oh, that was, okay, that was a specific thing to that. The other kind of synchronized patches in multiple working copies. So I could push up that super messy repo with all of the little STG commits and then sync that. But then the only way to use it is to sync. So this maintains something that somebody can go through and use and cherry pick a bit. Although I think some of the variables we've added may have made adding and removing them a little bit more challenging because they all end up interdependent on each other by including context from the previous patch in the series. So I'm not really sure what the solution to that is. Short of just trying to locate everything in different areas of the file so they don't have overlapping context. But anyway, my initial thought is we get something that grabs this string out of the series file, checks out that version, applies the patches, and then rebases it onto the thing that we would have selected by here. So latest tagged patch, git fetch, git checkout. So this is not actually the apply step. So many files. Wait, where did we... Does STG import might automatically apply them? But that's only fetching it. And I know I've seen the command happening. Oh, apply patches. Is that in the Docker file then? Yeah, fetch latest, apply patches. Create a new branch, init, import the series. And then get all of our version stuff. I guess that works for there. So what we want to do, we're in One Life. I wonder if we have not refreshed our index with stuff checked out. There we go. Although I do have to prove out how this actually works. Oh, I lost the chat window. There we go. So how would we pick out a single value from a file? So this is going to be like a Unix-ish. Select a part of one line from a file. And we might have awk generally available. Search, print that. Using sed. For all the text from the beginning of the line to the optional space. Oh, really? Oh, so it's the default spaces. Huh. Oh, actually, this is, so this would have to be running in the container, so that would actually add a bunch of dependencies. I mean, we'd probably only have to install them once for the standard run, but rather than by position, yeah. That's for a single line, I'm assuming. That's looking like all fields again. Fed pat. POP3 server name. So is that doing one pass to find the line? And then, well, we can see what sed minus n does. I guess we'll go up here for ease. Sed minus n of, this is where the small monitor is kind of annoying. Sed minus n of, small monitor again. Git commit in series. Print, okay, it's not the line number, but it accomplishes the same thing as grep. Okay. And then given that line, they have a couple of ways to pull it out. Cut is delimiter and nth field. Cut out selected portions of each line in a file. So in practice, this probably will be at the exact position in the file. That seems possibly fragile. Fields, the limiter characters. Yeah, it'd probably work, but it still feels fragile. Although, the other solution is to replace exactly the phrase that we've got. And if that text changes, then matching it would not work in very similar to the way that character positions would change. Can we do set s with nothing? Can we do dot star up to commit and then okay, that will at least get us somewhat fuzzy in what we can do. So that is the command that gets us our commit. So we don't have any variable usage examples here. Fetch latest tag does do some of that stuff. So that's going out to a text file and then getting it back. The text files are used for inter-communication. There's latest tagged version is just doing sed, so we should just be able to do and that is with backtick. Patch on commit. Git checkout. Patch on commit. Ooh, I might need to get the thing to check out in here. STG import. And then we need one life, minor gems, we can recalculate it, but it does not save that itself. So now I have to know, given a variable, or do we just switch this over to oh, actually it'll be exactly, well, 'Cause it's the tagged version. Latest tagged version. And he's doing it differently. Or no, essentially the same command. To get server code version number. Oh, and just doing latest tagged version. You know, maybe we just copy it. STG rebase onto latest tagged version. Then rebase it onto there. Hopefully that will be a little bit more robust. Oh, the other, well, yeah, one step at a time. The other thing I wanted to do was make sure that if the patches fail, and I know there was a point where they did fail, so if I can find that, we could try and convince it to run that version instead. Temporarily, so that we can see the error and then try to make it actually stop if it hits a patch application error. But we might actually see some errors here, so maybe we can just kind of roll with that if it's going wrong. Oh yeah, okay. Can't read series, no such file. Oh, I probably have to... Well, we've got a failing file, so we want... how do we make that fail the Docker container? I think we're done with that. Let's see. Docker script fail build. Best practices. Maybe Docker build would say something about that. Understand build context. Type through stand-in. Did not send... local build context. Oh. Remote build context. Exclude with Docker ignore. Don't install necessary packages. Start multi-line, leverage build cache. Command expose env. After the current Docker build completes. Parent Docker file, oh, child Docker file. So that would be that. So yeah, still. What about health script fail script if command fails and hope it actually, that the color means it actually failed. There's exit. For all commands in your script, whenever a command returns with a non-zero, I don't need to print an exit message though. Especially might not be still pipe fail. Okay, so this might apply to everything, but in particular, apply patches. And what does set pipe file, net pipe file? Pipe file or pipe fail? Pipe fail. Oh, that combines a bunch of other stuff. When a command fails, okay. Pipe fail, the exit code of the last command. Of a pipeline's last command. A pipeline to that of the rightmost command to exit. Foo is a non-existing command. As it's a non-zero. Okay. So that allows you to do, we'll do this command or do that, which I don't think is the behavior I want. Oh, but that says only if it's in a piped setup. Yeah, I'm not comfortable with that one. Unset variables as an error and exit. That's probably good. Has an immediate exit. To print each command before exiting it, or executing it. That's our debugging. I don't know if it's necessarily... Without E will cause an error trap to not fire in certain circumstances. I don't think I'm doing that. All right, so EU looks like what we want. So now we would like to see, since this is a failing script right now, we still have to check if a bad merge rather than a actual bad... Well, that's still a bad command, maybe. Bad merge will do it. Okay, return to non-zero exit code. Intend to check out which... Okay, so I actually have more errors than that. Oh yeah, this is a variable. But I also saw, oh, actually, this is something that failing before it got to this, and we saw this error message. Series, this is patches master series from here. Previous head. Change to new branch. Okay, so we've got white space. That doesn't stop it. I've not seen that when working on the Windows system, so I'll just have to hunt that down sometime. So we think that's fine. So can we easily convince this to run patch version number, and then we get it back? Latest tag patch. So we would, to test this out, can I look up? Oh, that's our main command. cd source, not source. Windows client source. One life patches master. GetX. Yeah, so I think here I had to do that. So it's actually, if we do 5. So I think this would just be echo 5 to patch version number.txt. No, we expect it. No, except we're using a better method here. Well, we'll see what happens first. If it succeeds, I'll try undoing that change to make sure that fails on a patch failure. I should have actually done the failure first. I just forgot about it. Okay, and that actually seems to handle the merge okay. I mean, I guess we could see if there was then a compiler failure. But nothing seems to be off. All right, so if we go back to, this would be git checkout minus b patched and no rebase. A longer compiler than I thought. Oh, right. Changelog probably didn't exist at that point. And maybe that's another script that should fail? I don't know. All right, apply patches. Diff does not apply cleanly, command exited. That's what we wanted to see. And then we need to unhack that. Oh, I forgot to actually check that stuff in. Add readme and changelog, add patch readme. Let's see. We have apply patches to version at time of patch and then rebase. Fail build if patch location fails. All right, so that is the stuff we want to do there. So now we've got sort of a dual set of goals in that we would like to have this update or attempt to update whenever there's a update to its source repositories. And we want to have that happening somewhere. So on one hand, and we may have to make some adjustments if we're doing like some sort of continuous build system or some place to run this. Let's see, I think I was looking at what? And I guess it's a subject update as well. So that wants to be what? All right, so we're done with you. Done with you. We've got some Docker docs up if we need them. So I know there was Circle CI and Travis CI, which are going to have, and there's probably others. So I used these guys a little bit before on a previous job. But I want to see how this is likely to adjust. And apparently orbs are new since then. So use a Docker image and then run commands in it. So do we have to have previously built and published an image? Well, the reference would say if we could use a Docker file, right? 2.1. Or maybe that's an orb? Shareable packages of configuration elements. Authoring your own orb. Third-party orbs. That's okay. This is the overview. Development orbs. Production orbs are immutable. Orb elements. Executors and images. Docker images? Maintain several Docker images. using custom images. For this environment, I might actually want to rejigger the Docker file to be more of, here's our base compiler image, and then we run the commands to do the build. Docker installation, creating a Docker file. Okay. Must be stored in a public Docker registry. So that would be a little adventure. Jobs, build, Docker, image. Okay. So that's the Docker file. It's the Docker file. Not an example of using it. So that would mean that would be more, we would have a compiler Docker file, and then it would have to build and upload all in one step. Well, I mean, I guess you could load in all the scripts to do all the things, and then have the CI environment run through the steps. What does your environment look like? GitHub, yeah, for actually triggering stuff. You also have a YAML file. Ooh, we got language. Customizing your build. Submodules. This might not. I mean, maybe you could have an environment that runs full-fledged Docker. Using Docker in builds. Services Docker can run and build. Services Docker from a repository. Docker pull, Docker run. Building a Docker image. Docker build. So is that a Docker address, or yeah, it couldn't just assume GitHub. So that would once again have to be a published image. Pushing to the registry could be useful for the server. So we could do, well, yeah, Docker build. See, none of these. Well, yeah, anything cloud hosted is going to be doing a full clone. In which case, I might want to look into. Well, no, I can't just get the top of it because we're getting the specific tag versions. Which it has to get the repository to get the tags. Oh, or is that a... Oh no, that's a tag label. So it's just... Oh, it's doing the implied Docker file name. So if those are just commands, I ought to be able to run my existing shell scripts, albeit with the adding the clone every time. Okay, so this is... All right, so this is a more direct translation of just run the scripts I've got. This would probably mean doing a version that's just the compiler, and then having the YAML file step through the process, which is not as translatable to something I can run locally. So and then the question is, how do we set up triggers? Well, custom images is, yeah. Docker file, which is kind of what we want. Is that more of a jobs thing? Bugging, collecting data. No, I need to know. What triggers a build? Every code change is authorized. So the problem is I need to track a repository I don't own for updates. Of course, that may end up applying to any well, I need to track multiple repositories. Workflows tab. Now, CircleCI did have some cache management stuff. Might be useful. Can I run sample public repos, multiple repositories? Oh, also those forked repositories. Check out additional private repositories, though. They're not particularly private. Deploy hook, and you push a build. PR hooks to store PR information. Build forked pull requests. That's only for PRs. Oh, if the webhooks have to be set up on the source control end, then I can't. Can't do that. Repos, owner, repo hooks. Can I GitHub? Well, try webhook. Repo I don't own. Creating webhooks with a GitHub OAuth app. Webhooks and automation. Just set up how you want your webhook to behave through GitHub. That's not terribly useful. Subscribe to certain events. Integration rather than GitHub apps. So we might have to do some searching on GitHub. So first we search on our repository to see where it's probably settings and yeah, webhooks. There's a webhooks guide. So now if we go back to here, I don't even have a settings tab. Oh, and it's this thing. So, can I be notified of changes to... Well, there was something... That's GitHub. Building open source projects. Set PRs from forked repositories. Restricted build. Ah. That's still set up on the main repository, though. Well, it's just on Heroku, so that's fine. Like Circle CI. Well, okay, maybe that's useful. Webhooks. Go to the settings. Assign this URL. API hook. Comments URL. This is like a straight up code in terms of dealing with that. But this is just, they're doing something actually with the hooks. Vanilla circle container. Checkout, restore cache, setup, build, test, making our own Docker image, build our Docker image on Circle, save a Docker image, Docker pull, is that Heroku app slash that? I don't know if I can get small enough for this. Nope, that doesn't help. Docker build. Oh, tagging with. Let's pull the existing image off the Heroku image and tie it to our app. We don't need to do anything. You configure the app to use it. That's Heroku specific. So for Heroku running Docker, they've just got their registry stuff. Heroku from our Circle machine. Hmm. So that's using that. That's using the custom container. But this is building it to push it to Heroku and doing the Docker login with that stuff. So that's not really relevant. We still don't have a way to get notified about changes to other repositories. GitHub notified of repository changes. If I have song change. Get notifier. Watches GitHub repositories for changes. Local mirror. It's running my own service. Enterprise. Oh, that's like GitHub internal notifications. Or commits to a repository. Oh yeah, so this is somebody else's repository. GitHub's RSS feed. Oh. Commits tab. Email notifications. GitHub Events API. But you have to get that and process it yourself. Create a pull request. Email section. Email on a commit. Email service. Now I have to set up something to watch a mailbox. So there's an RSS feed, but whatever service I'm using would have to be watching the RSS feed. Docker Circle CI. What can you do for triggering jobs? That's pull requests. Building specific branches. Integrations, notifications. Atom feeds. Oh, it's being produced. Yeah, it looks like may have to have my own service to watch for upstream changes. So, I know on Heroku you have scheduled tasks. You could probably have that somewhere else. But then you're not using a CI system. You just got a cron job that's doing some fetching and trying to determine if anything has changed. And then you don't get the benefit of the sort of lightweight, run these commands you get there. That's more of, you could probably do something in AWS. Heroku wants to have something that can respond to web requests, although I guess you could just have a little dummy server there that you don't really need. Can I trigger CI off someone else's? Build triggering from third-party repository. That's build fails externally. Whenever the application source code, yeah, this is exactly what we're doing. Docker Hub. Figuring the source for the software it Dockerizes. Nope. This has been sitting out here since 16 and no one has answered. All right, so I should probably log in here at some point and upvote that. How about we try third-party repository, see if that language mix does any better. Cloning a third-party, well, I mean, that's also something I'm interested in. Disabled. Triggering builds, that's your API. Third-party CI? Shallow submodules. Third-party CI. And the architecture. This is setting up a definite project. A lot of setup stuff. Nothing jumping out as setting up the triggers. Any assigned to the test job. Where do you... Are all of the source things really one line, or are they bugged? Where are we setting up repositories here? I'm not seeing... That's for logging in. Yeah, it seems like I might have to build up a complete thing to monitor a third-party repository. And if I have to go in and do, if I have to like, I could have my own repository that tracked it, but if I have to go in and do a merge, then that's not too much different than going and hitting Docker build. I still have to do a manual step. I guess the advantage is that can be done on GitHub and not somewhere else. Oh, okay. Yeah, not dropped frames. I don't know what that was. So I'm a little bit stuck on that. Would essentially need... I would need something that would check. I guess you'd actually want to be checking the latest version tags on all the repositories. So you'd have to clone, check the versions, and determine what the appropriate version string would be. So that would have to be some little scheduled job thing somewhere. You might then be able to trigger the actual build there. How about, what does AWS have for that? Job scheduling. ECS tasks. Without cron? Each task. Service scheduler. The scheduling strategy. Desired number of tasks across your cluster. Each active container. This sounds... I mean, do we have, like, time-based scheduler? Cron-like schedule. Run more tasks in your cluster at specified times. You learn how you're containerized. Third-party schedulers. Actually, how about AWS Lambda schedule? Because that's kind of, we don't really need a persistent thing. Oh, but it works with the CloudWatch events. Schedule expressions. And we just have to set up we'll have to see how we set this up. Because I don't know if Lambda can build a Docker thing, but you could have this go trigger a CI or something. Permission, function, action, event sources. Schedule expressions, rate expression. Where does... so that's rate, and then that is cron style. AWS Lambda. CloudWatch events. The email notification. Create an element function, canary. Schedule expression. Okay. So this is apparently just a Lambda thing. And then the question is, can we have this run and build if it detects something? Or do we have to have it go trigger a CI system? Lam CI. Docker Llama, replicate a Lambda environment. Deployment packages with Docker. Build of serverless to Lambda with serverless to Lambda. Replicate, replicate the Lambda environment, which is great. To build deployment packages with Docker instead of EC2. Yeah, and this thing I ran, I don't even need to run the container. I want to, but I think this was like download and compile Docker to compile a container. Need to tag with the same image. Trigger Docker builds. Docker for serverless. Write in any language. Lambdash. Static binaries. Needs root access. Docker. Execute Docker containers without root privileges. Emulated environment. Disk space. Some of my images might have been getting a little bit big. Well, there's an Ubuntu. That's pretty much where that size was coming from. This isn't a good idea. Yeah. So we would have to have just a couple of scripts in Lambda to fetch the latest Git tags and tell us if there is an update, and we still have to be doing the build somewhere else. Yeah, from a single source. Well, this could get us back into EC2 stuff. Let's see a repository. Not an IM roller user. And to build our custom image, tag the image. So this is an image that will be run on AWS GitHub Docker. We could have a generic button. Battery dies. Download the mobile app, pair it your device, access the button, modify additional settings. The Lambda, we reuse the code. IoT button. Certificate and keys to the IoT button. Oh, this is asking Docker Hub to do the build. New tag is created every time we press the button. Oh. So I don't know if Docker Hub, but well, that it is, well, it's a build and a command in the build, which is maybe the hairy part, but I could probably update it to actually go ahead and upload. Type to tag. Name to numbers and dots. GitHub Docker build. Nginx latest, index, logo, daemon, release will be called X. So how does it get, if it's adding the tag, how is it getting the version number? Is it just adding one? So this is automated builds based on a tag. But they can do the Docker build, but I have to run the container, actually. Which probably they don't do. So they're using this through Lambda to trigger a GitHub tag, which triggers Docker build. So it's not actually, well, there's a Docker Hub, which can do a build. That could be useful maybe for providing the server container. What was this one? Continuous deployment. So we're back to ECS tasks. So we could have a Lambda thing going, well, maybe once an hour, every couple hours to check for updates. AWS, this is all Lambda, 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 Lambda. So we want to know, what can you do a task? Scheduling task. Docker, well, this would be like making, that'd be great, but I would actually be making a container to make a container. Unless I went back to the thing of making the compiler container, which ran the build when it executed. I guess that would be build and upload. But that would be not a thing that was itself a versioned artifact. Oh, but I was sending the source code up in build context. Well, no, because we've got the commands to do that. So how do... I'm going to have to review how my Docker mounts work. Because I want something like the layering. Or it doesn't necessarily... Unless we can set up volumes and actually have it reuse the repository, which would be nice. Register a task definition. Port mappings, entry point. Hello repository, run Apache. Register task definition. But that starts it up and leaves it running. And I guess you could set it up to exit itself. Well, actually, that's the command that exited. Okay. Docker basics. Sample application, store container images. Build tag and push Docker image. Actually, am I already doing some stuff in wait, upload. Oh, config to config. Okay. Yeah, so that gets us our S3 push configuration. Oh, maybe that? Yeah, I'd have to sort out how that works inside the Amazon environment. Task definition. Launches and maintains. That might not be the right thing. So does ECS do one-shot tasks? One-shot single execution script on ECS. No. How about terminate? Create, terminate, or stop. Terminate a stale container belongs to an auto-scaling group. They also had something that was, maybe it was a different thing for doing batch jobs. Docker image. Continue to run if the container finishes or fails. Okay. So that's fine. Oh, and data volumes. Non-persistent storage volume. Docker volume. ECS launch type. So what's a launch type? Without the need to provision and manage the backend infrastructure. Hmm? A cluster. Uh, used to run containers that having to manage servers. Okay. Scale clusters of virtual machines to run containers. Decide when to scale. Did not sure. And that might be appropriate, but that would be the compiler container that does stuff. Log driver. So once again, meaning having to build the container somewhere else. And EC2 launch types. We retired, text the triple failure. Schedule retirement date. But that should still be part of the task definition. So that is run a container. The trick is, how do we need to set things up storage-wise? So, well, this should be something that would be easy to do from Lambda. Or we could try to look into CI APIs to have it go trigger a thing over there. Can Fargate have volumes? That's something that's not clear. All right, do I have notes? So actually we have resolved that. Oh, we still haven't taken this over to Windows. That could be another step. I don't know how far those are out. So we have how to be notified of changes in other repositories. Lambda scheduled task is about all we're finding. Where can we run actual builds? We've got CI systems with various trade-offs. I've got Circle CI, which looks like it would be a compiler image with build commands in YAML. We've got Travis CI, which seems to support running Docker commands. Hopefully scripts running Docker commands. We've got Docker Hub for container builds, well, image builds. Image builds, no run, probably. Heroku would need a web server. Which you just have to define a dummy web server, I guess. I don't know that that would make sense for the game server, which is a whole nother animal. Because that is a little bit more of a start the container and run it in type of environment. We've got ECS, which has lots of settings and options. So that is some of the things we're looking at. Fargate is more container oriented. Can supposedly set terminate on done. Storage, maybe. So I might have to define a new container that's just the compiler setup, and then we have to figure out how do we manage source. Well, I can set it up so it either, actually I think what I did before is I set it up to clone and update things, but I would map in a local copy. But then that would actually be updating that copy. Update notes. All right, so this is a big project. Maybe if I sleep on it, I'll get some idea of where I want to go with this. I might be back poking at, well, do I need to poke at the game itself? Well, I can do some code reading to try and trace down bugs. I guess I could have actually done that today. So get that off. Really? That's it, huh? So that's it for now. I want to, well, I am going to come back and do some Stepmania. And then I'm planning to be out this afternoon, should return for more coding tomorrow, and then we'll have gaming in the afternoons. All right, so off for next time. This still needs to be refreshed because it's still, I guess I could have actually done the when I'm running locally. But that will essentially do it. So thanks everybody for the hosts. That's actually one I haven't seen before. And, well, I'll be back shortly for Stepmania. Sometimes it ends up going later, but today I'm still kind of buried in options without really having an obvious place to go. So yeah, we'll probably have 45 minutes an hour of Stepmania, and then I will be out for the day. If you want to stick around for that, great. If you don't, great. Goodbye for now. See you in a few minutes, maybe.